Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day to everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank Professor Madya Dr. Abdul Hadi as a lecturer in the subject of Contemporary Islamic Thought, and to my fellow friend. My name is Batrisyia Binti Norli. My matric number is D2023-1108403 and I'm student from Bachelor in Tahfiz and Qiraat with Education Program at Sultan Idris Education University. Today, I will share to all of you about my book review assignment. So without wasting any time, let's start with the introduction of this book. As you can see, this is the book cover of the book that I chose. Firstly, the title of the book is Islamic Thought and Introduction. The author of this book is Abdullah Saeed. Who is Abdullah Saeed? Abdullah Saeed is a distinguished Muslim scholar, the Sultan of Oman Professor of Arab and Islamic Studies at University Melbourne. He has published numerous works covering Quranic hermeneutics, Islam and human rights, Muslim communities in Australia, Islamic law reform, Islamic finance, and Islam and freedom of religion. This book was published by Routledge, a well-known academic publisher, and it was first published on 1 August 2006. Islamic Thought and Introduction by Abdullah Saeed is a rich and contemporary introduction to the philosophies and doctrine of Islam. This book traces the development of religious knowledge in Islam from pre-modern to the modern period. It focuses on Muslim thought as well as the development, production and transmission of religious knowledge, also the trends, schools and movements that have contributed to the production of this knowledge. Besides, this book does not focus on one single aspect of Islamic thought, but it deals with a range of areas of Islamic thought from foundation text to law, philosophy, politics, arts, theology and mysticism. So through this rich and varied discussion, Abdullah Saeed presents a fascinating depiction of how Islam lived in the past and how its adherents practice it in the present. This book contains 10 chapters covering 224 pages in this book. For Chapter 1, Transmission of Religious Knowledge and Islamic Thought. Chapter 1 forms the basic context for the remainder of the book. It examines the fundamental teachings of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, the development of religious knowledge, and political context that shape Islamic intellectual traditions. It depicts the key centers of learning with particular reference to higher education institutions and the patrons and scholars who founded them and fostered their development. Meanwhile, Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 explores the first primary foundation text, the Quran, and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, which is the most important source of authority for Muslims after the Quran. In particular, it addresses issues such as the Quran as revelation or text, a brief overview of the history of the text, and a modern debate on authenticity of hadith, approaches to understanding the Quran and the Sunnah, and the centrality of both sources in Muslim life and practice. Next, Chapter 4, Legal Thought. This chapter explores the notion of Sharia and Fiqh. It includes 4 sources of Islamic law, which is the Quran, the Sunnah, Ijma, and Qiyas. It also examines how law is constructed in the 5 juristic schools, which is Hanafi school, Maliki school, Shafi'i school, and Hanbali school for Islam Sunni, and last Ja'fari school for Islam Shia, that highlighting some of the key principles of Usul Fiqh. It also includes a section on Islamic law in the colonial period, the debate on law, Islamization and Sharia, and also the reform of law today. Okay, Chapter 5 is Theological Thought. This chapter is devoted to Islamic theology that discuss theological trends and their central ideas, as well as the decline of early groups such as the Mu'tazilis and the gradual increase in the influence of the Ash'aris, moving on to modern developments. And chapter 6 approach mystical thought about Sufism historically by tracing the origins and development of Sufism and explaining the Sufi path. It includes key Sufi orders and their characteristic and concludes by looking at Sufism today. This chapter provides an introduction about Islamic artistic expression and the debates on what is considered Islamic art and what is acceptable or not Islamically. It divided under three subheadings. First, art and artistic representation, decoration and calligraphy. Second, music and singing. Third, mosque architecture. For me, subtopic music and singing are very close with us nowadays. Like, have you ever thought about the law of music? Is it forbidden or allowed in Islam? So in this subtopic, you can see a great argument between anti-music and pro-music discussing their view about music. So if you want to find the answer, you can read this book. Next, chapter 8. This chapter traces the Muslim interest in philosophy and the lively context in which this interest arose and developed. Also included philosophical contribution by Muslim philosophers, both classical and modern. For example, we have many great Muslim philosophers such as Al-Kindi, Al-Farabi and Al-Ghazali. And we also have modern Muslim philosophers like Muhammad Abid Al-Jabiri, Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas and Syed Hussein Nas. Next, chapter 9. Chapter 9 deals with Muslim political thought. It includes the yearly Khariji, Sunni and Shia theories of who is the actual imamates and the caliphate in Islam, and summarizes the concept of governance and statecraft of several thinkers. Included in the chapter are also some important contemporary debates on concepts such as state and citizenships among its Muslims. And for the last chapter is about renewal, reform and Muslim modernism. This chapter describes key Islamic trends or movements that have appeared from 18th to the 20th centuries. For instance, there is pre-modern reform movements in places such as India by Shah Wali Allah, Arabia by the Wahhabis, and North Africa by the Sanusis. For Muslim modernism, Sayyid Ahmad Khan from India and Muhammad Abduh from Egypt are among the first modernists that appeared around 19th centuries. In my opinion, the advantage that can be obtained from this book are firstly, a deep understanding of Islam. This book provides a comprehensive overview of Islamic thought covering various aspects such as the Quran, Sunnah, legal thought, mystical thought and others. All of this can help deepen our understanding about Islam. Second, academic knowledge. As a student, this book can serve as an excellent resource for our studies, especially if you are studying in religious studies, Islamic studies or related fields. Third, critical thinking. This book encourages readers to think critically about the different aspects of Islamic thought. This can enhance our critical thinking skills, which are essential for academic success today. Fourth, dialogue and understanding. The knowledge gained from this book can equip us to engage in informed discussion about Islam. This can promote greater understanding and dialogue between different religious and cultural groups. In conclusion, Islamic Thought by Abdullah Saeed is a really interesting book about how people in Islam have different thoughts about life and the world. Each chapter tells us a different part of the story, and the exploration of many aspects in Islamic thought make this book an invaluable resource for students, scholars, and anyone interested in gaining a profound understanding of Islamic thought. For me, I think this book is highly recommended to read because it can contribute to our personal growth and help us to reflect on our own beliefs and values. Lastly, I hope this book can open our minds to learn more about Islamic thought so that we can become a better Muslim in the eyes of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That's all from me. Thank you for watching and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.